right, welcome back to the show. Today we have something a little different. I know we're usually talking with comic book creators and talking art and all that. Well, we're talking art today, but it's an interesting kind of art. We're talking with the founder of HeartWorks, and we're going to learn about some horses and animals that do art themselves. And so let me go ahead and bring her in, and she can introduce herself and tell us about herself and the organization. Then we'll go from there. Hi, how's it going?
It's going really well. Thanks for having me. I really, really enjoy these sorts of platforms and sharing different possibilities and widening people's perception about what is going on around us and what is truly possible.
So before we jump into it, tell us a little bit about yourself and the organization.
Yes. So my name is Trisha, born in Canada. 30 years ago, made a big move with my family. We said yes to a cold opportunity. We weren't expecting it. It showed up and we said yes. And we've been living in the Caribbean ever since. And as a child and young person all growing up, I was fascinated with horses, just loved everything about them. I didn't come from a horsey family. I do think it's a gene that some of us are gifted with. And found a way to navigate my journey with horses. Also loved art, especially cut and paste art. And who knew that fast forward, these two passions would come together in this incredibly fascinating art platform where our horses and a dog and a cat are all painting healing art for people. Their idea, they sent me a video in an airplane outlining the whole process. And these animals are rescued. So they are infusing the energies of what they've overcome in their art. And people who interact with their art through the paintings or the products we digitize the paintings on, like the scarf, feel a sense of belonging, a sense of coherent energy. And there's no other feeling of standing in the middle of a herd of horses and being accepted into that community. And that's what the HeartWorks offerings are all about.
Okay. So let's talk about now. You hear about animals painting all the time, but this seems to be a little different than that. How you've already said this, but tell us a little bit about the animals and the art they make.
Yes, and you're right. It's so wonderful that we've been hearing about different animals painting already because they have really pioneered this potential and opportunity that, yes, they do want to interact with us. They are more connected to the collective. They're more connected to energies. Their senses are heightened to be able to read and see energy differently than we do. And they're really here, to be not just companions, but to be part of our wellness. And so because of them laying down the foundation of animals and art and animal therapy and art therapy, the natural progression then is to take a look at the energy in the art. All art has energy. Everything that we hang around us wear does hold the energy of the person who created it. That part's not new. So they're intentionally putting in and infusing positive energies into their art. So it's a layered education. It brings people's awareness to the fact that everything around them does hold energy. So what energy are we surrounding ourselves with and wearing, to then choosing what surrounds us, choosing the energies that will support us. So it's new the way we package it up and make it available. but we're really just bringing forward something that's always been there. And I think now we're ready to take a new look at it. And so we've actually, because I am nerdy and my team is nerdy and proud of it. We've invested in technology. We've invested in biofeedback technology and BioWell technology. So we measure the paintings and we measure the digitized products with the paintings on them, and we have the readouts of those measurements. And then we took it one step further. We'll measure a room without pillows and a blanket, and then we measure the room after we add the pillows and the blanket. And sure enough, every time we do this, we're seeing a rise in coherent energy in those spaces, and with the people who we measure without a scarf, and then we measure with a scarf. Now, I will insert here that I'm a HeartMath certified trainer. I'm not sure if that's a term that you're familiar with or the viewers are familiar with. HeartMath is a global organization and platform that has been around for over 30 years, and it's well respected, and it teaches heart-brain coherence in the moment, eyes open, when we need it most. And most of their clientele are people in the first responder positions, the military, teachers in wellness, mental health, but also it's also for everybody. And so I've been involved with HeartMath for over 15 years, and I am a certified instructor. And so I insert that awareness of coherent energy in everything that we do with the animal artists and with everything that we write about and offer.
So tell us a little bit about the process of, the materials that the animals use and how they go about, doing what they do.
I would love to. So the first thing we did when the information dropped in, I call them uploads because they're elevated. It's elevated information. Is we asked them. The first thing we did is using biofeedback and some animal communication. Is we asked who wants to be part of this out of the horses that are in my care, and the dog and the cat that are in my care. And believe it or not, 2 horses said, "Oh, I don't know." They're skeptical. So we went with the ones that originally said yes. And once they saw the process, we could just tell right away how excited they got, and they got on board too. So painting days look like this. We have a process where we clear the barn. We clear the people that are involved in the painting process. Sometimes it is my barn manager, who is the facilitator of most of the painting days. We will either have an intention already that's come forward from our hearts. Sometimes we put forward the intentions, sometimes the horses put forward the intentions, and sometimes a guest puts forward the intention. So whatever the intention is, for example, if it's gratitude, then we write the intention out. We talk to the horses about the intention. Then we have a table that lifts up and down to facilitate the different heights of horses we have, because we have horses that are a bit taller. We have a mini who's very little. And then each of the horses have their own color palette, their crystals, their oils, their horoscope, everything that they resonate with individually on the website, on their individual pages on the website. So if Sophie is painting, she paints in blues. She's from the Caribbean. She paints like the Caribbean Sea color blues. And so we first will ask her, would you like to paint today? They have clear ways of showing us. It's ears forward. They get excited. We just check the colors. And then we do have to put the paint on the paper. We use watercolored paper that has been treated. But we do so without engaging our brain. We really do it from the heart. Blob the paint on the paper. We do cover it with the paint's non-toxic, but we cover it with a film. And then they use their lips. Horses' lips are like fingers. Now, interestingly enough, they cannot see right in front of their noses. That's why their whiskers are so incredibly important. And so we define the space with bran flakes, the equivalent of bran flakes. It's not a bribe, it's not a treat. And now they don't even need us to define the space because we have 100 originals and they just dive in. They move the paint around, they create the patterns. And then when they're finished, each of them have a clear way of saying, I'm done. We reveal the painting to them every single time. Ears forward, we did this. We also don't put ropes on them when they're painting. We don't tie them when they're painting. There's a few different areas we use, but like the center of a hallway. And so there's participation is number one for me, and their safety and their comfort. And so that's what it's really all geared around. And it's tangible. Our YouTube channel, which is heartworks.horse, has videos of them painting. And even just watching from a video playing, it's tangible. Their excitement is real. And it just brings so much joy, not only to them, but to us. And their niggly health conditions are improving, which we weren't expecting.
Right.
But it's given them this purpose that has elevated their life force energy. And so, because one of them's 26, they've all been through their stories and all their, aches and pains and things that happen. We all have those things. They're dissolving.
So once you have the painting, what you're obviously putting it on. I'm going to assume merchandise to raise money for the group. Is that correct?
Yes, it is because we want to do more. Mm-hmm. And, I love the word conscious businesses. Whenever I get a chance, I mention that word because if only there was other ways to value businesses and fund businesses other than the energy of money, because this is one of those businesses where the joy it brings people and the comfort it brings people is of so much value. But the reality is we need to fund the marketing and the outreach and that sort of thing. But our biggest love is our blanket program. So we're building a blanket program where, and there's a blanket story on YouTube, one's there, where when we find out somebody is in need of support or recovery or has done something really amazing for their community, we send them a blanket, a beautiful blanket. We ask what horse, we ask the horse what painting, and we print it on a blanket and we gift them a blanket. And I would love to see these blankets in children's hospitals and hospice to give the family, right? The children can pick out their favorite horse and then we give them a blanket. And so we're aligning with the abundance of the universe. And someone very wise said to me, you don't need to know how it's going to happen. You just need to keep putting it out there. And so that's one of HeartWorks' dreams is to really build the blanket program. And also we're developing a documentary to just get people to open up a little bit and see what's possible. The underlying purpose of HeartWorks is right from what the horses told me in conversation with somebody. We're talking about horses in general. They've always been depicted in this place between physical and spiritual, and every culture has their spiritual horse stories. And I was speaking to somebody about this, and they came in and spoke through me and said, you look at our horses, you look at us horses in wonder and awe, but look in the mirror, you're human. And we've come as a catalyst using this art expression to open your hearts. And so you will start to see other people the way you see us. They want us to see each other in wonder and awe, and not in competition or not in judgment. They want us to open our hearts and see each other in wonder and awe. And so if it takes a pair of socks to have someone smile, then that's opening their heart. If someone's curled up under a blanket and feels cozy, that's opening their heart. If somebody's drinking, coffee like I am out of a painting by Jack, and it makes me smile just to hold it, that's opening my heart. And so they're sort of starting from the inside out with their offerings to build momentum into living from the heart, but having it rise organically.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a favorite animal artist, or one that you enjoy working with, specifically? Not, I don't want to say more than the others, but is there one that you?
That's a really great question, and I'm going to answer it with another question that somebody asked me. I can feel them. They're all listening in. What is she going to say? Pick me. Somebody asked me if we're painting for a condition, say cancer,
Mm-hmm.
if the same horse volunteers to paint for that condition. So I asked them, and their answer was so beautiful. They actually said, "We see you whole." So the horse that steps forward to paint for a particular intention or illness or whatever is going on, they see us whole. They're resonating with the person, not with the disease.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so to answer your question, do I have a favorite? No.
Okay.
They all you can make me get emotional. They're all beautiful, beautiful souls, every one of them. Mm-hmm. And Phoenix was a racehorse from New York. Gwen was a high-level performer from Ireland who got totally burned out. Sophie was an orphan from the Caribbean, and Summers are Minnie. And then we have three very special horses from another island in northern Ontario. Scout was thrown away, and Ellen has one eye, and then her son Jack. Well, he's our wild child. And Hannah, I adopted her from a humane society in the Caribbean, and she's the dog. And Spike was returned to a humane society near where the animals live 3 times. And then they asked us if we would take him in and see if we could restore his faith in humans. And it took a year, but he even paints. And when he paints, he rolls all over the paper as he's petted, and he adds this purr energy into the painting. We have one spirit horse who passed away as HeartWorks was coming to be. We asked her if she would like to paint as our spirit horse. She said yes, and she paints through the mini summer. And so it's a real collection of these wonderful, wonderful souls who are helping us wake up.
Now, do you find, and I hope I phrased this question correctly, but do you find any common themes, between the horse artists, and the, by animal species, or are they all unique in their own?
They are definitely all unique on their own. And so just so I make sure I got the question right, the way the dog paints versus the way the horses paint?
Yeah. Are there any similar, the end results, or are they, have the same motion, or kind of, again, I don't know if that's a good question, but it's.
Well, technically, the dog does paint the same way the horses do. The horses do. She uses her lips. The cat, he uses his body. What I see with the horses, though, is there is different nuances. Phoenix paints in a very cosmic theme. Sophie she paints in a very playful theme. She reminds us how important it is to be curious and to play. And she's the bossy one, but not in charge. So she likes to push boundaries, but in play. Gwen is very serious, and she's your she's your lawyer type, and but she's had to learn that life isn't all about pressure, and that and to trust herself, and that she is enough. So she paints from that place because she was a high performance horse that got burnt out. So she's had to relearn how to live outside of high performance, and that she is enough just as she is. So they have slight nuances. So when they all paint for our collections, when they all paint forgiveness, the forgiveness paintings, Phoenix's will feel a little different than Gwen's, and then Summer's the mini, and her thing is about, she's small and she doesn't want to feel small. So it's not about your size, right? It's about your heart. So they all have different nuances. And that's why when people come to the website, they want to invest in and bring home their own little bit of HeartWorks, they can fall in love with one of the horses, or they fall in love with their story. Maybe something about their story resonates with their story. And so we try to have a lot of different touch points and contact points for people to really resonate and align, so that when they receive their products, they really do feel supported by the art, by the horse, by the energies, and by us as HeartWorks.
So as we kind of start to wrap up here, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that people knew about HeartWorks, or?
Well, I would like to. One of their offerings is affirmation cards, and so I would love to pick a card for people watching, listening. These are created from their paintings, and I am going to pick one just with my heart for everybody watching. And this is the one that came forward, and it is called Alive, the Joy of Living. And it was painted by Jack. And the affirmation is joy of living, roll in the sand, sprawl on the grass, leap up into the stars, trot across the moon, kick your heels at the sun, race it across the sky, shake your head in the rain, put your back to the wind, feel the joy of living pulsing through your veins. Celebrate.
That's deep, and definitely what we need down here in the, because you live in Canada, and we need more of that here in the States. So
yeah, well, I actually live in the Caribbean, but I'm originally from Canada, but yeah, and not far, just off the coast of Miami. So,
okay.
But yes, especially this time of year, especially just with everything going on around us, getting back to nature, getting back to feeling the joy of living, and that's one of the things that this art does. It's so surprising, but it grounds us again into those things that really matter, especially grounding us back into ourselves.
All right, so as we finish up here, why don't you give us just a brief summary of the organization, where people can go to find out more about them or purchase some of the prints.
Yes, HeartWorks.horse is the website, and our YouTube channel is the same, and our Instagram, and our TikTok. So HeartWorks.horse. We're everywhere because we really want it to be easy for people to find us, and we have all different price points because we also want people to be able to invest, to have their own little piece of the horse art, and it not be just for, the exclusive layer of community, but there's something for everybody. And you can email us, you can join the herd through the opt-in, and we have a lot of exciting things coming up. I'm about to publish a book called Walking with the Herd, which is the bridge between the art and living more from the heart, and just know that you aren't alone, and our companion animals are ready to support us, especially in these changes that are untangible. And so they're providing a touch point and a reminder that, we're not alone, we're supported, and we are human.
Well, that's a great message to end on, and I want to thank you for taking the time. I know we've been working since August to kind of set something up, and I'm glad we finally got to do it. And if you ever have anything else you'd like to talk about, or anything new, then would love to have you back.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's really been my pleasure, and I love your screen with all the worlds behind you, because those to me look like those are the potentials and the possibilities that each of us have in front of us. And just with widening our perception and believing in a little bit of magic, which it really isn't magic, it's true, we can start to live life in the colors of these paintings.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and
you too.
Thanks again.
Yes, I'm wishing all the viewers, sending you all horse hugs. Thank you.